Etsy versus Shopify. Where should you start? Hi, it's Jenny with Jenny's Wreath Boutique, and today I'm going to go over Etsy versus Shopify for where you should start with your handmade business. If you're wondering whether you should sell your handmade items on Etsy or Shopify, you are going to want to watch this video. I'm going to compare the pros and cons of each and ultimately help you decide which one is best for you where you're at in your business right now. Before we get into the pros and cons, first let's talk about the major difference between the two platforms. Etsy is a marketplace for handmade and vintage items, and Shopify is a hosted platform where you can set up your online store and you can sell basically anything you want. For the purpose of this video, we're going to be talking about a handmade business because obviously that's what I specialize in, so let's get to it. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that yet. The first thing we're going to look at is the cost. Let's start with Etsy. With Etsy, you have a lot of different fees. The first fee you will have is your listing fee, which is 20 cents per listing. The next fee you will have is your transaction fee. That is 5% of your item cost, including the shipping costs. And then the last fee is your transaction fee, which is 3% plus 25 cents. And obviously, since these are percentages and depending on how many listings you have, your cost could vary quite a bit. If you're just starting out, a 20-cent listings fee is very reasonable. And if you don't sell anything or you don't sell very much, obviously your transaction fees and your payment processing fees are going to be very, very low. When I first started my shop, I only had 10 listings, so it cost me $2. Yay, math. It cost me $2 to start my shop. Now that my shop is a lot more successful, obviously I have a lot more fees to pay, which is one of the downsides of Etsy. I'm just looking at my last month here on my phone, and just looking at the fees from last month, which was a really good month, by the way. Like, not all my months are this good, but I just wanted to show you the most recent month I had. And my transaction fees are $473.20, and my listing fees were $23.80. So that is almost $500 just in listing and transaction fees. Yikes. The good side of that is I sold a lot, which is great, but my fees were also higher. With Shopify, you get one fee per month, regardless of how much you sell. So that's nice. They have three different plans. The basic plan is $29. The Shopify plan is $79. And the advanced plan is $299. They also have an app store where you can purchase add-ons to your shop, and that will also add to the expense. If you're just starting out and don't have a lot of sales yet, Shopify can be a very big expense. If you're just starting out and you don't have a big audience yet, or you don't have a big customer base, this could be a really big expense for your business. However, if you do have a large audience and a large customer base already, it would be really nice to have just one fee. You don't have to have all the listing fees and transaction fees. That would actually save you money not to have those. Honestly, after looking at my fees for the last month, Shopify is looking a little more tempting for me. But this is why I'm willing to pay higher fees on Etsy, and that is traffic. That's the next point I'm going to go over. Because Etsy is a marketplace, it also drives a ton of traffic. All these high transaction fees and things like that I'm paying goes toward their massive advertising budget, which we all benefit from. This is probably the biggest reason for choosing Etsy, especially if you have a small customer base and a small audience. With Shopify, you will have to build your own audience. While it's nice to have your own store and everything like that, you have to bring in all of your own traffic, which can be a downside, once again, if you have a small audience and small customer base. If you do have a small audience and you decide to use Shopify, you might have to spend money on ads, which could add up to as much or maybe even more to what you would have paid in Etsy fees. The next thing is creative control. With Etsy, you are extremely limited on your branding or creativity with your account or site, whatever you want to call it. And your competitors' listings are right next to yours. And if your customer does make it to your shop, other than just your listings, they will still have suggested listings from other shops on the bottom. And with Shopify, once you get a customer to your online store, they are there. They're not going to get distracted by all your competitors everywhere. So that's a big, big plus for Shopify. Ease of use. With Etsy, it's extremely simple to get started. It's very beginner friendly. You don't have to know much. And with Shopify, it's also easy. I've heard, I have not personally done a Shopify account. I've just done research and I have friends that do it. It's also simple, but it does require a little more work than Etsy does. Another thing you would want to consider when choosing between Etsy or Shopify is email marketing. With Etsy, you are not allowed to collect customers' emails. Etsy gets to keep the customer emails, and if you studied marketing or business at all, you know that an email list is so important for your business. I wish I would have learned this earlier. I just started making an email list about a year ago, not even that. And with Etsy, it's a lot harder to do. I kind of have started to build one off Etsy by adding a 10% off coupon if you click this link, which Etsy doesn't allow outside links on listings, so they kind of have to copy paste it. So it's more of a hassle for the customer, but it leads them to a landing page where they can sign up for my email list, get the coupon, and then they get the % off their listing. It's kind of a hassle, I know, but that's Etsy, and you do what you got to do. With Shopify, it's a lot easier. You can have a pop-up, just like a normal website. You can have a pop-up come up, and they can sign up for your email list. You can also entice them with a coupon that way as well. Or they can select to be on your email list at checkout. So much easier, so much more simple for the customer to get added to your email list. And as you know, or if you don't know, I'm going to tell you, an email list is a great way to keep in contact with your customers and let them know of upcoming sales or things like that, and it just keeps driving traffic to your shop. If you're going to sell digital products, one thing to consider is Etsy makes it very easy to sell digital products. It's crazy simple, actually. I have a few in my shop. It's extremely simple to set up. But if you have Shopify, you need to do an extra app. You have to buy an app to sell digital products. So you can weigh that. I'm not sure how much it costs to add that app, but I know it costs something. Now let's talk about some miscellaneous pros and cons for each platform. I wasn't sure where to categorize them, so I'll just shoot them all out here. One of them is with Shopify, which I consider this a really big bonus, is you can have your own gift cards. Isn't that great? You can have gift cards to your shop. With Etsy, they have Etsy gift cards, but it's not specific to your shop. So it's kind of a thumbs down for Etsy on that one. A bonus that Etsy has over Shopify is they have a calculated shipping, which is when a customer clicks on your listing, they will get the exact calculated shipping amount, so you'll know exactly what to charge them. And Shopify does have that, but it's only available on the most expensive plan, which is $299 a month. Speaking of shipping, I personally only have experience with Etsy shipping, but I love it. I know with both sites, Etsy and Shopify, you can print shipping labels. They each have their own shipping stuff, but with Etsy, they're connected to USPS and FedEx, but not UPS. So if you prefer UPS shipping, if you do it with Etsy, you'll have to go off-site to do that. But I love it because on Etsy, you can do all your stuff there, print your labels, you get a pretty good size discount on shipping, and you can schedule your pickup right through Etsy, which didn't used to be the case. It's actually pretty new. If you're interested in seeing how I ship my wreaths and fulfill my Etsy orders, I have actually done a video on that. I will link it down below and put a card up here. I think I'm pointing to the right spot. Right there. Well, I don't have experience with Shopify shipping. I'm assuming it's pretty similar to Etsy's. I know you can print the shipping labels. You probably get a discount as well with shipping through them, but I don't have a lot of experience, so. Another thing to consider when deciding between Etsy and Shopify is Etsy is a trusted marketplace and customers are more comfortable buying there than from some random shop. Of course, if they get to know you and things like that, it won't be a random shop. But at first, especially for first-time customers, it's harder to gain that trust and credibility. A bonus of Shopify is you can add a blog Can't do that with Etsy. And while Etsy is a great place to start, it's not very scalable. A huge benefit of Shopify is the scalability. You can build and build and build and build your business and upgrade and add all these apps and add-ins. The sky's the limit really with Shopify. And let me tell you, after doing all the research for this, I'm very tempted. With Etsy, you are limited with how much you can grow and personalize and brand your business. And I love Etsy, obviously, if you can tell. And it's been so wonderful for my business. But if I'm ever going to scale, I might need to add on to Etsy. As you can see, there's no real easy answer for which is better. They're just different. And I think it really depends on where you are in your business. Personally, and this is what I did, I think Etsy is the best place to start. It's very easy, so easy to get your foot in the door. It's like low-hanging fruit, and it's so low cost when you first start. If you're just kind of putting your toe in the water and you don't know if people are going to buy your product or something like that, Etsy is a fantastic option. And there's already traffic there. You don't have to start all over or start from scratch. So Etsy's a great option for when you're starting. If you are starting an Etsy shop or you have a new one, I have a whole Etsy playlist, which I think you will love. You'll learn so much. I've got all my best tips on there, so check that out. I will leave it here and in the description. I also think adding a Shopify site to your business is a fantastic option, especially as you grow. Another thing that you can do with Shopify is it's so easy to connect your social media. If you've ever been scrolling Instagram and you see a cute product and it has that little Shopify shopping bag, you can just click on it, it shows you the price, takes you to the website. I want that. I think adding a Shopify store to your business is a great idea eventually. Once you look at your Etsy traffic, you can see that by looking at your stats on the Etsy app or on the Etsy platform. You can look at your stats, see where all your traffic is coming from. Most of mine, last time I checked, it was 60 to 70% is still coming from Etsy because I use a lot of good SEO. They have their ads, all the things. Still, as much effort as I put in on my own marketing, my platforms are growing, and still so much percent is just coming from Etsy. That tells me that if I did take a store off, I would make about 30 to 40% of the sales that I do now on Etsy. But eventually, when I look at my stats and I see that most of my traffic is coming from my own efforts, that would be a great time to start a Shopify store. But keep your Etsy store. You might as well, right? You can just leave it there, make some sales, have Etsy do all that work, right? Just more sales. I hope this was helpful for you, and I hope it helped you decide whether you want to start a Etsy shop or a Shopify store, or both maybe. I don't know. Anyway, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!